Hello, it's been a while. My beautiful little baby girl Isla was born coming up to 9 weeks ago now, and it's been busy trying to find time to get on the bike and ride, let alone put together some sort of video. Has been very, very difficult. In fact, I had a little bit of period where I just couldn't get on the bike or needed to support my wife, and going back to work, having her spend the whole day looking after the baby, and then me finishing work and disappearing into my office for the evening while she carried on looking after the baby didn't feel like the right thing to do. I got on the bike a couple of times, and both of those times there were, how should I put it, poopy nightmares that happened. And yeah, my wife just was struggling when I finally got off the bike. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do the right thing, stay off for a little while. Been managing to get on a few rides as in the mornings, and as time has got a little bit easier, as you know, the children get a bit older, babies get a bit older, things get a little bit easier. But it just means it's been difficult to get on the bike, but I'm hoping that's going to pick up now. I've done a few rides the last couple of weeks in the mornings, just zone 2, just to get into the swing of things, really. One of the reasons I'm struggling to find some time is my daughter was born. We found out, when she was born, they did the usual examinations, and they found that she had a bit of a clicky hip. And they thought they'd send us off just to make sure that there were no issues. Unfortunately, it turned out, after a few visits to the hospital, that both of her hips are dislocated. We went in to try and get a brace put on, which would hold her hips in place for, I can't remember how many weeks that would have been, 6 or so weeks. But they couldn't. They put her into the harness and then scanned, and it wasn't holding it in the right place. So they took it off immediately because there was no point. We were told in the build up to this that there was a chance that a high probability that it wouldn't work. We've now since been down to Southampton Hospital, where they've got the experts down there in this field, and better for children and babies down there. And we found out that she's going to have an operation. Not just one operation, but 2 operations. So it's just been a little bit of a whirlwind for us. That won't happen until she's a year old, just for anaesthetic reasons, I guess. But she will, it sounds pretty horrific, but she'll go in for 5 days before the operation to sort of be held up by her legs to stretch the tendons out in her hip. Then they'll operate. She'll be in a cast for 6 weeks, with her legs held apart and in place. They'll then put her on under anaesthetic again and put another type of cast on for another further 6 weeks. Then they'll put her under anaesthetic and take the cast off. And then they'll do the whole process again for the second hip. Over the course of, I guess they'll do that a couple of months after the first one to maybe give her some sort of break. But it's going to be an interesting sort of 18 months from this point, where we're trying to look after her and then go through what might be quite a difficult time as a family to just get through. I don't really know. The main thing that kind of put me at ease was they were excellent at Southampton Hospital. The specialist we saw was amazing. He really explained everything start to finish, what's going to happen, put me at ease a lot. The second thing that put me at ease was that they kept saying that she's not in any pain. I'm not sure how you can tell that with babies, really, but he did actually say that the condition's it can go undiagnosed until the child starts walking, and they're like 2 or 3, and you notice that they're not quite walking correctly between each of the sides when they walk of their legs. And Isla will be able to still pull herself up. There's no worries. We don't need to stop her. And she might even start walking before she has the operation, which seems baffles me, the fact that her hips are dislocated, but she might be able to walk. So it's kind of put my mind at ease that we can just sort of get through them until she's 1 relatively easily, and then we'll have to go through the operations and things as well. So that's kind of, we've been in and out of hospital a few times for different appointments and different things that they've tried to do. And yeah, it's kind of added extra things and time requirements that just finding time to get on the bike has been really, really hard. But as I said, I have started to get back on just doing half an hour rides. It's been a bit of a shock. Everything's gone out the window in terms of diet and fitness and everything. And half an hour rides have been enough for me, and getting my backside used to being on the bike again. I know I've been through this multiple times, but yeah, just doing that. Yeah, but I feel good. I've only done a couple of rides and already starting to feel it ease up and become more natural again. So hopefully it won't be too long before I'm not going to be back to where I was for a little while, but I'll be back on a bike, hopefully doing some races and things soon. Time allowing. The same things with videos. I will do. Firstly, I feel like I've got to be doing something that's worthwhile you watching. So doing zone 2 rides in the morning for half an hour isn't going to make a particularly good video. I mean, if you guys want to see that sort of thing, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and do them. So I've got to be doing back up to some sort of fitness so I can do interesting rides so you guys that actually might want to watch. And then it's also the time requirement to put the videos together and stuff. So they might be a little bit infrequent. They might be a little bit all over the place. But I'm sure as we sort of progress, she gets older, things will get a bit easier. I've got a bit more time and I'll be able to do more videos and become more regular. I hope. Well, one thing I really did miss, it's been a few months now and I really have missed doing these videos and just the editing and the stuff like that. I quite enjoy it. It's good fun, which is why I enjoy doing it. It's like a creative outlet for me. So yeah, let's see how that moves on. I did get on the bike a little while back to try out the new climb portals, the Zwift Climb Portals. And I thought I'd just quickly show you that ride, and maybe I'm late on giving my thoughts on that as a feature, but I thought you'd let you know what I thought and how it went. So I'm going to hop over and we'll have a look. So here I am heading towards the portal, the Côte de Trebec, is that? I don't know my climbs, I'm sorry, but you go through the portal and what I like is it's instant. You're there's no loading, there's no waiting, and then you're hit with this wall of colour, which took me a little while to work out what that meant. That may have been being stupid or whatever, I don't know, but you kind of have the blue is the lower gradient, then it goes to yellow, orange, and then red being the steeper gradient. First thing you see, as I said, it's just sort of colour everywhere. But actually when they announced this and when I saw the pictures, I did think to myself, I don't think that's necessarily very Zwift-like. And I thought it might be a bit of a gimmicky thing to put in, but once you kind of get into it, it's not too bad. I did feel that I'm doing 12 kilometers an hour out here. I'm not a fast climber. I'm a big bloke. Things move very, very slowly. And I kind of got that impression as I went up this climb. I thought, I don't feel like I'm moving. It's really, really weird. And as I went through, I wonder whether it's because the road looks like it's moving very slowly under you, and there's no horizon either to kind of give you any feel for, because there's no objects and no horizon, you don't really kind of get that other feel for what's moving around you. I know they've tried to do that with these at the moment, they're square boxes. I spotted this as well. As you go along, the shapes change colour based upon change shape based upon what colour section you're in. But yeah, I just took this, it was a really casual pace, didn't go particularly fast. I just wanted to check it out. It was one of the shortest climbs and I thought I'd see what it was all about. If we jump ahead a little bit. So I'm just heading here up to one of the other archways. I think, as I understand it, each of these archways are a set distance, an equal distance apart from each other as you go up the climb. It kind of felt a little bit weird. I know you don't have the archways on the Alpe de Zwift, but you kind of get the sections that are based upon the corners. Having it based on distance was really weird because it didn't seem to stop at the end of a blue section or an orange section or at a corner. They're just sort of equal distance apart. So that was just something to get used to. I guess that they become useful if you're going to do the climb 2 or 3 times. You have your segments to try and beat yourself on the previous time, etc. But yeah, it was one thing that jumped out to me at the time. But I think this bit really highlights what I got confused by. Ahead of me, there's just a block of colours. I don't know where I'm going up the road here. I know I'm going to go right because the red goes right. And then am I going left or am I going right? It's just, you see the blue behind the blue, but you can't tell which one's the closest blue and which one of the road is that you're heading up. Does that really matter? I don't think it does, because you're just trying to aim to get up a climb. But visually, I found it a little bit confusing. I thought I'd like to kind of know where I'm going. And I think you get that better on a normal Zwift island or a normal Zwift world, where you see everything that's going on around with you. And I don't know whether that maybe the colours could be a slightly different shade of blue, so that you can just tell the nearer ones are darker blue and the further ones are lighter blue. You know where you're going to head. You know what's coming up next. I don't know, but there was another thing that I kind of spotted. What I do like though is if you look here, you can see all the colours that you've already done on the right hand side, and it's uninterrupted by trees and fields and stuff. So I do quite like that, because you get to kind of see everywhere you've climbed up so far. I don't know. It's a very different experience to the normal Zwift environment, and I'm struggling in my head to make sure that I don't compare it to the normal Zwift, because this is something that they can just implement and do any ride or any climb that they want to, and I guess put in quite easily. They don't have to worry about creating all the video assets and creating the world around it. But yeah, I think if I got a better feel for the speed I was doing, I'd probably feel a little bit more. But that's me because I'm a slow climber, and I'd probably, if you looked at the road on a normal Zwift climb, I'd be the road's probably moving at exactly the same speed. It's just, it feels different. And then moving on to the end, you get a little turnaround point at the top. You get through the final archway. I didn't beat whoever that was I was supposed to be challenging. You do your little turnaround at the end, and you head back down again. Again, I did that in 23 minutes 24. I wasn't trying to beat any targets. It was just a nice casual ride up there, 197 watts average, just to see what it was all about. You get to kind of go around at the top, and then let's just jump ahead. You'll see what it's like on the downhill. I'm sure you guys have already seen this. One thing I did feel weird is it all goes purple. So you have I know you do in the right with the graphic in the top right hand corner, keeps the colours, but you get no feel for, is this a steep downhill? Is it a flat? Is it slightly uphill? Have I got to start pedalling to kind of get up a little bump and carry on the descent the other side of it? And I go back to what I said about there's no horizon. I really struggled to work out whether the road in front of me was going upwards or downwards. At the moment, it's difficult to say because it's a minus 2% gradient here, but it does get that feeling that you're going up, because all of the road in front is kind of below it. It's about to drop now to another gradient. You can see in the top right hand corner, we're about to come over and drop. There we go, minus 7% here. I couldn't tell that really by looking at the road I'm on. And I think that's one of the things that just messes with your head. I'm doing 58 kilometers per hour. I'm in the super tuck, and I can't tell by looking at the road and my avatar that I'm going that quick. And I know we've got all the colour of the shapes and colours coming at me. I found that really, really odd. And I felt it all the way down the mountain until I got to the bottom, that I just struggled to gauge. I'm doing nearly 80 kilometers an hour than I was doing. It just doesn't look like I am, and doesn't feel like I'm going that fast. Not that that matters. So I guess my overall summary is, I'm not going to be using this too often because I'm not much of a climber. I think if I was a lot lighter and could do climbs quicker, I probably would use this a lot more. And I think just for training, just for the ability to go out and do other climbs, how much I will use it, I don't really know, if I'm honest. Maybe if there's some shorter climbs and I think I just want to jump on and do a climb, it is something different to do in Zwift. Something very quick to get to, a short lead in, and you're there and you can jump on the climb and kind of end up in a totally different world to the rest of Zwift. So definitely has its positives. And I can see definitely there's going to be lots of people out there that love doing it. Here, I'm minus 16% there. I can't tell that I'm at minus 16%. Maybe that's just me, but it's something that I will use probably quite sporadically, maybe once a month or so, depending on what the what the climbs are that are in it. But maybe I would use it more if I was lighter and could climb quicker. I don't know, but that's my thoughts on that, my experience of that. And maybe I'll do it more often, I don't know, but I guess you guys will get to see that. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. Just a bit of an update episode, a little bit of riding in there as well. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get on and do a little bit more and start getting back to doing more videos a little bit more often as well. But thanks for bearing with me. Thank you to all of the channel members that are coming up the screen right now. Please, you guys, if you're not happy with how often videos are coming out, please don't feel that you have to remain channel members, channel subscribers. Do feel free to drop off that. I won't be offended or anything. And thank you for your support as well, whilst I've not been around as much as I would like. Hopefully we'll get back there pretty soon. But that's the end of this video. If you have enjoyed it, do hit like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.